Okay, so hello everyone and welcome back to the day 17 of learning DSA with me. And today you will be shocked that I have written the code in Python. So you might be saying that you might be thinking that from like 1 to 16 days we were doing C++, but suddenly why Python? Now due to the not very much use of DSA in C++, I have switched on Python because of the neat code as well. So what will be today's goal is we will be learning Python from the documentation or from the videos itself, or we can say from W3 school as well, and we will be learning these topics till arrays and sorting till them. Okay, then we will, from tomorrow I will be learning, I will be completing whole Python series, like what we can say whole Python programming language till classes, and we are good to go with the data structures and algorithms. But over here the main reason in order to switch from C++ to DSA, it was because Python is easy to use language. It is a interpreted, like what we can say, yeah, it is a data derived language, and because of that I am using Python as of day 17. Okay, now all these days we were stuck on bubble sort algorithm, right? Yeah, we were stuck on bubble sort. So what I will do is I will be revising all of that again, and I will be coming on bubble sort algorithm, but I will try to move forward quickly. Okay, now in this video what we are going to do is we are going to learn basic concepts of Python, and also we are going to understand some basic examples, or we are going to learn some basic code examples in Python as well. So let's get started. Okay, so what how can you, like, let's open Google Chrome side by side. I know this video will be long, but it's gonna be worth it later on. Let's open Chrome over here and also open W3 schools. So Python W3 schools. Okay, I'm gonna be genuine with you guys. Like, I'm going to what we can say, like, I'm gonna learn with you guys. Okay, so let's go. First is this syntax. As of now I had already learned Python earlier, but for today I'm gonna go and learn with you guys. Okay, so in Python the most important thing, and it is very important, is the indentation. Indentation plays a very important role when we are talking about loops or if else statements and all that in Python. Okay, so indentation refers to the spaces at the beginning of the code, where in other programming languages the indentation in code is for readability only. Okay, Python uses indentation to indicate a block of code. Now this line, of course you will be saying that, hey, where are the curly braces? But we are not going to use curly braces over here, we are going to use indentation over here. Okay, so let's take this example and we are going to, like, execute this example, of course. So what is the variable C? Okay, but before that, before coming on to that topic, I will tell you that how to declare variables in Python. You cannot declare integer, which is a which is equal to 10. You cannot declare float. You cannot declare boolean. You cannot declare any of those. It's just simply saying that the variable name, which is equal to name, and what is the variable going to store over here. Okay, now notice that I had the habit of using semicolon over here, but in JavaScript and Python we don't need to use semicolons. Okay, this is the second important thing in Python. But remember one thing, you cannot declare any integer data type before initializing the variable. All that you do is you just write the particular variable name and you declare some variable, or you can say you add some value in that variable. For an example, I wrote 14 over here. Okay, so this is it. Now what will happen next? What we will just go and print. So now that we were using, earlier we used to use cout and the variable name, but in Python we will be simply using a English keyword which is known as print, and we will print the name and also we will print the number, of course. So let's just go and check the output, that what we will get. Okay, so I got the name output as well and also the number. So we are done with the variable part. Okay, so this was all about variables. Now if you talk about is, let's talk about what if you might have a question like, right, what about boolean value. So if I talk about is active and if I say it is true, but in Python you need to say true, which is this true. So you need to say true over here, which will be which will not be uppercase, which will not be lowercase, but the first letter of that of that boolean will be true. It will be T capital. Okay, now if I enter this and I want to see anything like is active, I just wrote this and save it, and yeah, so it is going to print me 2. Okay, so this was all about variables in Python. Okay, the most important things are variable. Now let's talk about comments. Over here the second thing is comments. I know that you guys know what is the meaning of comments, and you can see that this code is commented, right? So this how can you write comments in Python. Okay, now let's talk about okay, so now let's talk about data types in Python. So data types in Python are numeric data types, sequence types, boolean types, binary types, and text types. Okay, these are the data types that you get. Okay, now if you want to know exact value of the particular data type of that particular variable, what will you do? You will simply go over here, you will just write type and you will enter the variable name over here, and once you enter the name and you click enter, what you will get to see is the particular data type of the variable name. I need to print it. Let's print it, of course, and let's on it. So yeah, so it is saying that hey, it is a type of what we can say string data type. Okay, it is a type of string data type. Now what do you mean by this type function, or we can say type keyword? See, the type keyword is very much simple. The type keyword is a built-in function which is used in Python. Like how cout function was introduced in C++, cin function was introduced, like that type function gives us the type of that particular variable. Now if I duplicate this and make the type of number, okay, if we click on this and run, so you can see it is of integer type. Okay, it is of an integer data type. So this was all about data types. Now let's talk about numbers. See, there are three types of numbers in Python. Those are integers, floats, and complex. We are not going to talk about complex because we are not going to use it, but integers and the floats are the most important numeric data values that we get. Okay, let's talk about casting. Okay, let's cast certain particular things over here. Okay, let's talk about strings. String is also easy, that you know, guys. Slicing, modification, concatenation, formatting, escape characters, string methods is easy. Okay, now I think it's time for us, like what we can say, it's time for us to check on the if else statement in Python. So let's go and do that. So in Python, if you talk about the if else statement, for an example, you have a statement according to the age. Okay, so let's give the age as 21, and I'm gonna say over here, now look at how I am indenting the code. Okay, so I will just write if. Over here I will not open a block, not no, I will not open a block nor curly braces. I will just write that if the age is equal to 21, I will give a semicolon, then I will press enter. Notice that we have got 4 space gap over here, and this is how the Python interpreter indents the code. Now let's print that particular. So if the age is equal to 21, then I will simply say that you are my friend. Okay, this is it. Now let's go and press enter. So you can see that the condition which was present inside this if statement went true. Now you might be saying that we were taking input in C++ using the cin keyword. But what about Python? So if I talk about taking an input from the user, I will simply go over here and I will say that, hey age, can you go over here and say input. Input is like a English keyword, so we're gonna say input and we're gonna take an integer input over here. Okay, and that input is going to be this, of course. So it's not the perfect, let's say, see, input in function. Okay, let's do this. Yeah, so what do we need to do is, yeah, we just need to pass in this, of course not this. So we're going to take an integer input, right? So we need to write integer and then inside that input, and we are going to write a string over here. So can you say enter your age? I just wrote this. Okay, notice that we are not using any semicolon over here. Okay, we are not using any semicolon. Python does not like using semicolons. So let me comment out this code because we don't need that code, and let's play with this. So if enter your age, so if I write 10, I won't be able to see anything. Why I won't be able to see anything? Because the condition becomes false. So in this case, now if I go back and say else if, now notice that while I was writing else if, the Python interpreter made it to elif. Elif is something which is equal to else if, and over here it is called as elif. Now if I say that if the age is less than 10, then you're gonna say that you are a child. Okay, and I will write one more elif. If the age is, or we can say I will just write an else statement. Over here notice that we are not using any brackets, so let's write this, you are a adult. Okay, so now let's test this code. Now if I click on number 1, like the code runner, and if I type 14 over here, I will say that it will say that you are an adult. Okay, so this was the code that I was telling you, and this was how if else elif statements work over here. Python is a little bit tricky language, but I know if I do this while learning DSA, it will not only take it will not only take much longer time, but it will help us in understanding the code easily. And many of the developers are switching to Python, so that's the reason what we are going to do is, okay. So this was all about if else statement, and now let's talk about loops in Python. So what do you mean, what are the, like, how are loops, like how loops run in Python? See, while if you're running loops in Python, you need to be aware of the range keyword. Now this range keyword is pretty much easy. So let me just open range keyword in Python and let me show you the documentation first. We are not going to use any help, or we are not going to need any help of any YouTuber, because I'm going to like show you how the, like, everything works from scratch, of course. See, the range is an inbuilt function. Now this range is an inbuilt function which takes in 3 parameters. It is taking the starting value, it is taking the ending value, and it is taking the steps. Okay, so starting is optional and the stop is required. Okay, so if I talk about this, let's talk about this. So how can you use this in loops? So I will just say for, there is no need to write the brackets, it's just for in what, for in range, and it's going to start from where I want to start it, from 1 to 10. Is that clear? And then I'm going to make a colon and just going to print the value. Now notice that we are not incrementing, we are not saying that, hey, is if I is less than equal to I or 10, it's not allowed over here. Okay, so this is how Python interprets automatically. So now you can see over here, from 1 to 9 we got all the values that we wanted, and it is printed in a normal flow. And this is how Python works while using loops over here. Okay, and very much important, and the most important thing in Python is the range keyword. No, most important thing, if you are learning loops in Python, then you need to be aware of the range keyword, which is very much important. Okay, Now let's talk about some other examples. Now you might have told me, you might have a question like what was the step count. So if I talk about the step count and if I say 2 steps, so it will be like 2, 4, 5 like that. Okay, so as you can see, or not 2, 4, 5, it will be starting from 1, right? So it will be like 1, 2, 3, 1, 2 will be skipped, it will be 2, 3, 4 will be skipped, it will be 5. So 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, or you can say odd numbers are getting printed over here. So this is how the range keyword works, and the range keyword is very very powerful, and you need to master this, of course, like literally crazy one. Okay, okay, now let's do other things. Let's talk about how are arrays defined in Python. So let's go over here and search for arrays. It is very much simple. So arrays in Python, just search that, you will see the W3 school values. And over here, see, let's talk about arrays. As you have noticed, in C++ we were working more on arrays, and that's the reason I am teaching you arrays today, because we will be solving questions on array, because we will be using binary search algorithm, insertion sort algorithm, bubble sort algorithm, selection sort algorithm. Now these algorithms work on arrays, so we need to be aware of those. So we need to be aware of arrays in Python. Okay, so let's start. So notice that we are not using any integer, we are not using any char, we are not using anything. We are just declaring the keyword, and we are saying that hey, this is a Ford, this is a Volvo, and this is a BMW car. Okay, so now notice that the car value, or we can say the car variable, holds 3 types of values, which is Ford, Volvo and BMW. Now how can you print this? So let's print it accordingly. Let's print it like normally. How you print? Let's print like that. So I use the print keyword, and see, as you can see, I printed the whole array with the bracket as well. But what about the particular value? So as you can see over here, I will just go and write 0. Array is 0 indexing. Every array in every programming language starts with 0 indexing, so we will be using 0 over here. So we got the Ford value, and if I duplicate this and if I write 1 and 2, I will see Ford, Volvo and BMW line by line. So this is how you can traverse within an array, or we can say you can select a particular element from an array manually, but we will be talking about this while using for loop as well. Okay, so there are couple of things that you can do while using arrays. This couple of things were not used in C++. So what are those couple of things? Very much simple. So see, if you want to append something inside that array, so what I will do is I will just write cars and I will say append. Append what? Append a Honda something. So the Honda will be at the very end. Okay, as you can see over here, and if I just go and print, you can notice that how fast am I coding over here, because the syntax is very much simple and it is equal to English language. That's the reason I'm able to like type fast. So notice that when I use the append keyword, the Honda name, or we can say the car name, just went behind the BMW name. Now why is that happening? So it is happening because we are using the append function, which does not mutate the array, or it is like it is mutable. So that's the reason it is doing that. There is one more function, which is pop. Now the pop keyword removes the elements from the array. Now if I use 1, for an example, if I use 1, now the Ford value, or we can say the not the Ford value, the Volvo value will be gone, because the array is starting from 0, 1. So the Volvo is at the 1th value. That's the reason over here. Okay, so these were some of the, what we can say, these were some of the method that we get over here. And we also have plenty of things, like if I do cars dot clear, then it will clear all the values. Now notice if I print, the array got empty. So this is how array methods work. This is how you work with arrays, and this is how everything works in arrays as well. Okay, so this was all about arrays from my side, and from tomorrow we will be learning about we will be learning about classes and some most advanced features of Python as well. But for now, what I will tell you is that I will be giving you the W3 schools listing layout, or we can say website, in order to have a look, in order to study on your own. But I would, what if I do something like this? If I wanted to print it, if I do not clear anything, okay, if I do not clear anything, and if I wanted to print it, so I can say for I in range is going to be 0 1 2. So it's going to be from 0 to length of that particular cars. And what I will do is, over here I will simply go and print cars dot I. So I think it will, instead of picking one by one value, I think it will print all of those. So let's print, yeah. So this was it. So this is how easy. Now let me show you the C++ code. If I was writing this in C++, how would that be? So this is for, this is integer I which is equal to 0, I is less than equal to the size or that particular value, then incrementing that, and then coming behind, and then just doing cout and array of I. So this was the code that we used to write in in C++, but now we are just using these two lines and the thing is done and our work is completed. Okay, so this was all about arrays. Notice that we also know functions. Okay, we already knew functions in C++. So let's do actually functions. Let me teach you functions as well. So as you already know, functions are a block of code, but how can you write a function in Python? See, the Python functions are written as def definition, like of the my. If I talk about this, this is be my function, and this is the simple value. Notice that I'm not using curly braces over here, I'm just using the semicolon, and I'm printing hello world over here. As you know that we do not need any of those semicolons, we do not need any of those bracket, we do not need any of those curly braces. We just need an indentation and the perfect use of the keywords which are present in Python. Okay, now let's call this function. How can you call a function? Just by giving the name and giving the brackets. Now as you can see, I got the hello world got printed over here. Now you have noticed that there is no main function. Now this particular file is the main function of that code. So this particular file runs everything, and this is how you get the values. Notice how can you take parameters. Now in order to get the parameters, I just write a and b over here. I write a and b, and I will get those parameters of course over here. So let's just return, let me just go and return a plus b, which will give me what? Which will give me the addition of those numbers. So if I click this, I won't be able to see anything, but if I store this inside a variable, if I create a variable sum, and if I go over here and print the sum value, and if I don't use this, and then as you can see I got 24. So this is how you use functions in Python. And notice that we don't need to define any integer, any float, anything, any desired data type over here. It's just automated over here, and that's the beauty of Python, and that's how we are going to learn DSA in that one. Okay, so this was the best explanation that anyone can give. There is also one function called as lambda function, but I'm not going to teach you today. I'm going to teach that tomorrow, because those concepts are really heavy and you need to like take some time in order to grasp that concepts. Okay, so this was it. Okay, so tomorrow's concepts are going to be classes, lambda functions, while loops, tuples, list, sets, dictionaries, inheritance. That's all. So this, after completing these two videos, we are done with Python programming, and we are good to go and head and continue our DSA learning series. Okay, so thank you for watching, and notice how easy it was to create a function in Python and it returned something as well. So thank you for watching, and if you want any of those help, or you want me to help you in something, please comment below, and please make sure to give this video a thumbs up. See you next time.